Today we're talking about the consequences and risks of non-compliance and not complying with e-invoicing mandates and continuous transaction controls or CTCs. When we talk about consequences, at the most top or surface level, what are we talking about then?
It's good that you're mentioning the surface, right? Because we can always imagine that there are many, but we normally focus on the main one. The first one is the monetary penalties, the fines that companies can face if they issue wrong invoice, if they don't issue invoice, if they don't submit it on time to the platform, for example, provided by the tax authorities, then they can face monetary fines. And that's something that can pile up. It sounds that it's not that risky for the companies, but actually if they keep doing wrong things, it can grow to a big amount of money that they might need to pay. So above the surface, we have the monetary penalties, but then if we go deeper, there's so many other hidden consequences we don't think about. So, for example, the hidden one that it's not really related to money, it's increased OPEX, so higher operational expenses. For example, if you keep issuing wrong documents, you need to amend them, resubmit them. And that means your internal teams need to redo the work, right? That means IT or finance, they need to do it for you. And instead of automating work, getting better, bringing value, they're putting out fires in places that you don't really need to spend time on. So that certainly doesn't bring a lot of profit for the company.
Yeah. So operational expenses or OPEX.
Mm-hmm.
OPEX. Yeah. They are then obviously leading to some profitability losses.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's connected to, again, the financial matters. So like decreased profitability or impacted cash flow. If you are unable to issue a document that is a legally valid invoice, your buyer might not be able to deduct VAT, right? And they might say, okay, I'm not paying it. I'm holding off with payment. I don't want to pay it. And then you are... your cash flow is stuck. And if we talk about hundreds of invoices, of course, that has a larger scale. And the whole supply chain is basically impacted.
And then all of that have huge impacts directly to your finances, of course, and your cash flow.
Exactly.
What about the wider reputational damages that can have for you as a business?
Yeah, that's another consequences below the surface, right? That it's also the non-obvious ones, such as reputation. You might not feel it in a way of you're spending money, but you might feel it because your buyers, your counterparties might say, we don't want to do business with you. We don't trust you anymore. You actually might be put as a risk supplier. And if the public authorities find out about it, they can even blacklist you. So in the long run, it can actually do much more harm to you rather than just paying a fine. If we talk about gigantic companies, right? Sometimes the reputation is actually something that can hurt them much more in the future. Yeah.
And for a business that doesn't comply to that extent, that you risk getting blacklisted, you risk getting, even being turned out of business, what does that mean for executives and the leadership team with dealing in a way that is not compliant?
If we talk about intentionally faking invoices, putting wrong numbers, falsifying tax credits, right? All of that can boil down to criminal charges that will be put on the executives, so they can be liable for those actions. And you might be asked to basically close your business.
Well, that's not a place where anyone would want to go. I think we can agree on that. So for companies who want to lay out a strategy that's going to work for them in the upcoming years, do you have a checklist or a few 3 or 4 things that you would have them keep in mind?
They should know the rules. They need to be aware where they operate. What are the laws? What are the regulations they need to obey? They need to make sure the documents they create are valid. In every country, it means different things. It can mean you need special reference numbers. You need clearance IDs. If we talk about clearance CTC models, you might need and QR codes, right? Everything has to be in place. They can also use help if they aim to automate the processes to make things better. And that help can come from service providers that have everything in order and our experience of helping those kind of cases, right? So that could be like the checklist I have in mind.
Now we know what we have to know about consequences of not complying.
Yeah, and hopefully no one ends up there, right?
Yeah.
We don't wish that to anyone, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank you.
Thank you.